Hello, here I am, feeling better, looking a little bit better. At least I showered, right? So I have a little bit more color in my face, too. I'm alive. I made it out of a whole week of some awful, awful, awful sickness. It was awful, people. I'm still sick. And the TMI that I'm about to spill to y'all is disgusting, but yeah, like green giant chunks of stuff coming out of my lungs. Gross. Of all gross. It's like, ugh. Ugh. But let me think. Did I want to die? A couple days there, I did think about it. But my whole body was hurting, and my cat was being a jackbutt, and she was biting me because I kept coughing and bothering her sleep. And that's because she's a black cat, and black cats are just that picky about their sleep. And so they don't want nobody messing with it, even their mamas, even the stepmama, because I'm a stepmama, a stepmama to an evil black cat. So I'm home. I'm always home, though. 61, and I was a stay-at-home mama, but we only have one baby. And then the baby left and went to college and met a young gentleman and fell in love and finished college. And he finished college. And then they first they had a baby. Then they got married, but they've been together 12 years. This year's their 12th year together, married 5. And yeah, and my grandson just turned 6 last September. So yay! I hope that they last forever. I do. Sometimes do I like him? No. But do I love him? Yes, because he is an excellent father. He stresses too much for a young man, though, man. I don't know about any of this, but in my 20s, I worked 2 jobs. I was born and raised in California. You worked 2 jobs. You worked one job to pay your bills, and then you had to work a second job if you liked to party and go out and have a good time and do all those other things like, buy clothes, buy gas. So I've always worked 2 jobs when I was in California. Always. Some, after I had my daughter, when I went to work at NUMMI, the auto plant in California, in Fremont, born and raised in Fremont, California. Hey there, if you're from Fremont, awesome town to grow up in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and it still was good in the 90s, but I left, and I would not go back now. No. You couldn't pay me to go back. Nope. My daughter was a very sickly child. She spent her first 5 years on asthma medication in an oxygen tent, almost lost her. She wasn't able to run around like her little cousin. And when I saw her little cousin, who was only 2.5, run across the yard, and then my 5-year-old run across the yard and then stop and have to catch her breath halfway across the yard, I knew that I couldn't stay there. I knew that I couldn't. So I packed up everything, sold off everything, and I moved her and me to a little tiny town in Nevada. A friend of mine was moving back home, and he said, we have a spare room. You can have, more than welcome to that. No strings attached, except for when I got here, strings were attached. So, yeah, I ended that after a few months of being here. Got my own place in March of 97, then bought my first place in 98, sold it, and then moved into my house in town in 2000, I think. Yeah, because I was still working for the state of Nevada. So, and then I was here for about 4.5, almost 5 years, and then I met my husband at a blind set date at a Devil Pups party, which is a Marine Corps function. And when I saw him, I was like, no, that not for me. I was getting ready to sell my house and move to Arizona so I could be around my mom. We'll get into that later. But then this guy came to sit next to me, and I'm taking care of my friend's twin boys. One of them has sadly passed away from a car accident a few years ago. That's just super sad. That's the second set of twins that I know in this area that lost their twin. Just an awful thing. But he was sitting next to me, and I swear this guy was the funniest guy I've met in a long time. And that's like my Achilles heel, laughter. I didn't grow up with it. So when somebody makes me laugh, it's feel good endorphin rush. And I laughed so hard that I cried. And thank God I was in a lot better shape back then, because I probably would have peed myself like I do now when he makes me laugh and have to run to the bathroom, or when my grandson does it and then blocks the door to the bathroom, because he thinks it's funny to make grandma pee her pants. It's not. It's really not. But yeah, I met him in 2001, in June of 2001, and we've been together since. Just like that. Bam. From, oh, hell no, to I got to go home, put some makeup on, and go fix my hair and come back, because I was looking ragged when I walked through that door. There, into that party. I was looking ragged as heck. And it's funny because when I came back, he asked me, I don't want to be offensive, but did you put like makeup on and fix your hair or something? Or am I just really, really drunk? I said both. But at least he was honest. Beer goggles were on. He wanted to make sure his beer goggles were adjusted accordingly. That's my husband. So today I had an epidural in Carson City, which I'm not making, obviously, because I'm sick. But I wanted to also send out a thank you to some of the people that have been dropping in from my comment about the stuff that I suffered from through my childhood. It was not by any means a good time. It was worse than what I even, that little 2-sentence, 3-sentence that I put in there. It was much, much worse. The gentleman that I don't even want to call gentleman, the psychopath that my mother picked up on the road hitchhiking. The stories are gruesome. I don't know if that's what you guys want to hear here. If you want me to recount the nightmares that I've been through, and nightmares meaning like they were actually daymares because I was living through them at the time. It's the stuff that people are now being arrested for, thank God. But I mean, how many years later, freaking 55 years later, people are now parents are being arrested for torturing their children. And why did it take 55 years? Because back when that stuff was happening to us kids, the cops were called and they didn't do anything. I guess you were allowed to abuse your children. Plus, none of us spoke. None of us, And my mother's infamous line, I just thought you guys fell down a lot. Yeah, we fell down a lot everywhere. On my face, my lip got busted. Yeah, sure. I had a black eye, contusions, I have a actual dead spot in my brain, and I'm pretty sure it's from when he choked me out, and I think I probably died. Of course, my mother says no. She got on his back and she ripped him off of me before that happened. But you know what? You don't just get dead spots on your brain And it says right on my CAT scan from possible child abuse. And I didn't even tell them that I'd been abused as a child. So for the person that read that, obviously they knew more than I do, or that my mom does. So yeah, I have a dead spot in my brain. And the only thing it could come from is from the choking, you know. Choked me out. The last thing I remember seeing is my sister and my little brother huddled together, holding each other on the staircase, crying, just crying. And my mother is sitting next to me, screaming, "Get off her, you're killing her, you're killing her." And then that's it. And then I remember seeing a flash of luggage being thrown down the stairs, and nothing more from that day, the next day, nothing. Just pieces. Just pieces. So whether my mom wants to admit it or not, I'm pretty sure that that man choked me, at least unconscious. Something happened to my brain. Or I'm just brain damaged. That's another possibility from all the drugs I've done from, 6th grade on. Or actually, sharing beers with the jackass when I was in the 1st grade, those little tiny 6-ounce cans they came out with little push tops, those little Coors ones. That would be my drink, those little tiny ones, because it's much better to abuse a child when the child is, laying there drunk as hell. There's no fighting. So much easier. Stick your tongue down their mouth and, teach them how to French kiss at the age of 6, 7. Wonderful, wonderful life lessons taught in my home when I was a child. Wonderful. I'm being sarcastic, as you can tell, I hope. But I've done it. I've gone through hell and I came out on the other side. And I'm one of the lucky ones. I'm sure that there were kids that were never found back then that was chalked up to runaways that were probably killed just as easily as I could have been that night. The only difference is that he had an audience, and so he couldn't get away with it. But would he have gone to prison, and would he still be there? Probably not. He probably would have gone, but I don't think he'd still be there. Not in 1976. Nope. Not 1976.